Did you know that 60% of Americans have snakes as their #1 phobia? Well, even if you're a tough guy and you're not scared of normal snakes, you will be terrified of these ones. The creatures we're going to look at today look like they're straight out of a movie. But these snakes are no Hollywood production, they've been found all over the world. From construction workers finding gigantic anacondas to a woman being eaten alive by a python. I'm Charlie and today we're going to look at the biggest snakes ever found. Before we jump into it, why not help out Top 10s by subscribing and pressing the notification bell. Construction Anaconda. This snake was found in Brazil on a construction site. The builders were stunned when they found this snake. They quickly caught it and measured it, and it was 33 feet long. That's 10 meters. The gigantic anaconda weighs nearly 900 pounds. And it was found right after an explosion was carried out in an Altamira cave. That demolition was to make way for a new construction that these builders were making, but their plans were interrupted by this humongous anaconda. The snake's 1 meter diameter body was caught on camera by the workers. They had to chain it onto a construction crane and then drive it out on the road to remove it from the building site. While this was happening, onlookers' jaws dropped. Now, sadly, the workers had to take the snake out as they couldn't do anything else with it. And this made a lot of people on social media very upset. But to be fair, what could they have done? You can't exactly take this thing home as a pet. This actually broke world records for the largest anaconda in the world. It was previously held by a 25-foot snake from Kansas City, but this 33-foot Brazilian snake blew that out of the park. Giant River Anaconda. This action-packed video really looks like it's out of a film, but no, it was caught by 3 amateur fishermen in the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. The 3 amateur fishermen were in their small boat going down the Amazon River. That is when all of a sudden they realize they're sharing the river with a gigantic serpent creature. This is an anaconda and it looks much bigger than normal. That is because it's still digesting its meal from before. Anacondas store up food inside them and digest it over a long period of time. One man uses his oar to poke the snake. The snake then uses its massive weight to push the boat away. The men tried to grab the snake's tail to try and capture this snake. I'm not sure why they wanted to catch this snake, maybe they thought they could sell it for money. After all, snake skin is used on the black market in luxury fashion. But the guys messed up by filming themselves committing a crime. They were later fined 3,200 Brazilian real. That's around $600 for being careless and harming an animal. They were also charged with hunting wildlife without a license. If found guilty, they could face up to 1.5 years behind bars. Guys, if you try and capture a giant anaconda without a license, pro tip, don't film it. Woman eaten by python. We all know that one of the scariest things about snakes is that they can eat you alive. Then, when you're inside the snake, they begin to digest you with their stomach acids. Well, in the summer of 2018, something like this happened on an Indonesian island. A 54-year-old woman named Wakiba had left her home. She was going from her modest house on Luna Island to her cornfield that she owned. But the next morning, she never returned home, so her sister went out looking for her. All around her home is wildlife, so it was very hard to look for her. But eventually, her sister found her footprints, her flashlight, and her machete. It didn't take long for the rest of her family and nearly 100 other locals to form a massive search party to try and find her. But sadly, instead of finding her alive, they found a 23-foot-long snake. This was around 150 feet away from her belongings. The python was very bloated, meaning it must have ate something human-sized recently. The python had the woman inside, and because of it, could barely move. So the villagers quickly took the python into the town and sliced open its belly with a machete. Inside, they found Wa. Her body was still intact, but she was not alive. Later that afternoon, she was given a big ceremony and a traditional religious burial. It's very sad that Wa was taken out by this massive python, but at least they did find the python and Wa's body. Peruvian Anaconda. This video was caught in September of 2013, and it was caught in the Peruvian part of the Amazon River. Resting on the edge of the river, some men found a gigantic anaconda. It was laying pretty much motionless because it was digesting a massive animal it just ate. This meant it could not escape these men and was easily captured. The villagers caught many photos and videos of this massive reptile, but sadly they also took the reptile out. That may seem harsh, but that's the culture in these areas. Anacondas sometimes take human lives, so they can never be too careful. But that did not stop many social media users being very outraged by these people. Longest python. The python you're about to see was caught in Malaysia, and much like the Brazilian anaconda we saw before, this was also caught on a construction site. I don't know what it is about construction sites, but they seem to be a breeding ground for gigantic snakes. The difference between this snake though was that it's a python. Pythons are usually smaller than anacondas, but this one measured at 26.2 feet. In 2016, this was the then largest snake ever caught. The Malaysian builders caught this snake and removed it peacefully. But sadly, the massive python passed away 3 days later while laying an egg. The snake was very hard to transport as it was longer than any pickup truck. Instead, they had to use a massive crane to remove it. Pythons which are that size can lay up to 80 eggs. But for some unexplained reason, this python passed away after laying an egg. That's very sad, but at least these construction workers were able to peacefully remove this massive python, and of course capture amazing images of this wildlife world record. The Naboo. Borneo is the third largest island in the world and the largest in all of Asia. It's shared by Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. But on it is a very scary legend of the Naboo. This is said to be a terrifying snake more than 100 feet in length. It also is said to have 7 nostrils and the head of a dragon. It's said to live in the Belay River. But now villagers are living in more fear of this snake than ever. That is because a few years back, an aerial photo caught something very scary. A photographer in a helicopter saw a massive shape in the Belay River. He took some photos, and when he got back home, his jaw dropped. That is because he appears to have caught a massive snake swimming along the remote river. The photographer was in a helicopter owned by the Malaysian government, and he is a member of a disaster team monitoring floods in the area. According to the Straits Times, a local paper, many villagers have seen the snake in real life. But this is the first time it was caught on camera. Titanoboa. The Titanoboa is said to be the largest snake in history, but it's now extinct. However, fossils of this have been found in Colombia, which date back to 60 million years ago. The snake was 42 feet in length, and it could reach a weight of 2,500 pounds. According to the Smithsonian magazine, this is the largest snake ever discovered. The fossils of this snake were found in a coal mine in Colombia. This mine extracts 32 million tons of coal every year. They dug down so deep they found an amazing geological discovery. At first, the fossils were thought to be from dinosaurs because they were so big, but it turns out it was actually a 40-foot long snake. According to Smithsonian magazine, it behaved like a modern-day anaconda. It dwelled in waters and would eat any animal that caught its eye. The snake would also be very, very large and as tall as a man's waist. The fossil of this thing is absolutely terrifying, and it's scary to think something this terrifying actually existed in real life, not in a movie. World War Snake. This photo dates back all the way to World War II. It was caught by a high-ranking Belgian fighter pilot. The squadron leader named Reddy van Leerde was flying over the Congo in a helicopter, but as he was heading back to base, he was amazed to see a gigantic snake below. He told his crew to bring the helicopter lower to get a better look of the snake and take some photos. But then the massive snake lunged into the air and tried to attack the helicopter and bring it down. Luckily, they were very skilled and avoided the snake, but they guessed the snake was around 50 feet long. Eventually, the photos were sent to the CIA headquarters, and they confirmed it would have been around 50 feet long. However, some at the CIA said the snake could have been around 200 feet long. Just think, the largest snake ever found was 33 feet long. That's the one on the Brazilian construction site. So this World War II snake could have been more than 6 times as large as that. The real question is though, will we ever find a snake bigger than 200 feet long? Of course, this was never totally confirmed, but the CIA is a pretty good source. Do you agree with the 200-foot long number? What do you think based on the image we have? It's pretty unbelievable to think these creatures, which look so scary and prehistoric, live among us today. Hopefully, as we explore more and more of the world and rainforests, we'll find even larger snakes. It seems like, based on the information we have, Asia is the best place to find gigantic snakes. But if that photo taken during World War II is anything to go by, we should explore the Congo a lot more. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Vote in the poll in the top right corner. Are you scared of snakes or not? If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There's some more videos on screen you may like. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.